IBC, Dale, Gateful 33 here to do the next instalment episode, call it what you like, of my Lost in the Collection series. This is number 14, and this week I have picked, as per normal, 5 records that have been languishing in the collection. According to my spreadsheet, they haven't been played for at least 5 years. So time to revisit them and see what I think about them. This week's theme are this kind of albums that are classified in my spreadsheet as alternative, but that's a bit of a broad church. It picks up sort of any kind of edgier artist that doesn't quite fit into the standard rock, folk, jazz genre. So yeah, and these 5 albums are also all double albums. So let's get on with it. First up is, I'm showing them in the order I played them this week, is Tom Waits' Nighthawks at the Diner. So this is an interesting album within the Tom Waits catalogue. This is from 1975. It's a live in the studio album, but of new material. And it's Tom Waits brings to life what he's hinted at on the 2 albums, sort of the albums before this, and sort of goes on to kind of portray, which is or around this time anyway, is the drunken, if you like, or jazzy, smoky bar nightclub singer. And he does it really well on this. There's lots of interplay and sort of speaking between the songs and amusing anecdotes and amusing songs, and it's a really good performance. I guess what I not struggle with so much, but because these songs are new, and this is the only place as far as I know that they exist, I don't necessarily fall in love with the songs because they're part of the performance. It's not like a live album by an artist that's doing a live performance of the big hits that they already have, and you can kind of you can sort of hear a live version of songs you already know well. These are all new, and this is the only place you hear them, and you hear them within the performance. So therefore, I'd say I don't feel like, oh, I need to go and listen to that song by Tom Waits off of this album because they don't have that context for me. So I'll stop rambling at that point. So next up is an artist I really admire, really love his music, and is Richard Hawley. This is Hollow Meadows, I think it's called, isn't it? Hollow Meadows from 2015. So yeah, this is quite atmospheric, more, sort of heavier on the ballads than the rockers. From Richard Hawley. He tends to do these, emotional love, melancholy love songs, and interspersed with sort of heavy rockers. This has got more of the sort of ballads than the rockers, as I said. His most recent stuff, he seems to have gone a bit more for the rockier stuff again. But yeah, really great album, really enjoyable. It was kind of parked because I tend to reach for, if I'm going to play Richard Hawley, I tend to reach for some of his other albums like Cole's Corner. So this gets overlooked, but no, stood up pretty well. Really enjoyable album. Kind of similar feel, I think. What was this? So this is Elbow, the takeoff and landing of everything. From, was it the year before, was it? 2014, yeah. This is from 2014. So Elbow, I'll say Manchester based. I'm sure Rob will correct me. I've got that not quite right, but Guy Garvey is the lead singer. I like Guy Garvey's kind of style of singing. He's great, particularly with Elbow, when they're doing the Glastonbury, and he gets the crowd going with some of the anthems. Elbow tend to do some really good indie anthems that kind of start slow and build, but this is an album, this is, let's say, much more intimate album, more delicate songs, and yeah, really enjoyable. This is a double album, 45 RPM. So this is an interesting. This is where I you know, sort of see albums. I think so. You know, a lot of artists. Am I going to go here? What have I only done 5 minutes? So yeah, modern doubles. There's a lot of modern doubles, sort of particularly then ones spawned out of the CD era, and rather than true doubles. But this is an interesting concept, or approach. So not even a concept, an approach. This is a double album, but it's at 45 RPM because the record is about 60 minutes. So it's neither a single nor a double, but putting it as a double 45 kind of makes sense to me. And so where I've gone, and I don't know if this is true, but where I've gone with this mentally is, and I'm at peace with myself over double albums, is, you know, the artist will make an album, and you know, it will be what it is. Whereas I think, you know, obviously back at the height of vinyl, an artist would make an album and it would fit on two sides of vinyl. Typically, double albums were rare. Now there tends to be, and then there was a CD age where people would fill a CD with 70, 80 minutes, and therefore it needed a double if you're going to make a vinyl version. Now I think artists are coming round more to the vinyl concept. Some artists, which means some of the artists are shortening their material, or in this case, which I think is, you know, if this is the case, is the album will be what the album is. Oh, it's 60 minutes. Okay, how can we put that out in the vinyl format? We'll put it out as a double 45 RPM. So if that's the case, that's great. When I show the next one, it's kind of a little bit weird way of doing it, but this works, and I am now rambling, so I will stop and move on. But it kind of, I don't know if you get that concept. I need to do a video, a show and tell on double albums and what I think about them, because I keep hinting at it in videos. I want to do it, but I haven't done it yet. moving on. So this next album is Neko Case and the incredibly long titled "The Worse Things Get, the Harder I Fight, the More I Love You," from 2013. So we've had a 13, a 14 and a 15 today. So these must have been albums I bought when I was getting back into vinyl, listened to them, and filed them away and haven't listened to them since. Although all three of those albums I have got digitally. So this is Neko Case. If you know, Neko Case was in the New Pornographers as one of the vocalists in the New Pornographers. Went solo, done some really strong solo material. I don't think this is the kind of top of her material. I think the three albums that preceded this are her sweet spot. So Middle, Cyclone, Fox Confessor and Blacklisted, I think, are fantastic albums, all three of those. This is maybe a half a notch down, but really good album. So yeah, lovely spot varnish cover. Pressing's a bit crackly on this, which detracted particularly with the kind of more delicate stuff. But yeah, as I say, it's kind of Americana songwriter. Follow her on Instagram, and the photos that where she lives in, is it Virginia? I don't know where it is, but anyway, she's still, just like she posted this week, there's still got snow on the ground where she lives, which is must live up in the mountains. Anyway, that's an aside. So yeah, this is about 45 minutes long, this album, I think, from memory. Yet it's a double, but it's 2 discs, 3 sides and an etching. So, you know, was that necessary? I don't know. But obviously still could have done the gatefold. But yeah, but enjoyable. So that's me hinting at my minor double album rant again. Stop it, Dale. Keep on message. Right, what's next is the final one is next, and that is Bell and Sebastian, the BBC sessions. So I think this came out as a 2 CD set, which was sessions on one CD and a live live in Belfast. I want to say. I think that's right. There's the vinyl version. There's just the BBC sessions. So it was Mark Radcliffe, Steve Lamacq, and John Peel sessions, I think, were the three that were brought together on this. So some of them, sort of the first disc, or first, say, 7 or 8 songs are familiar to me. They're songs that either appeared on other albums, or as singles, and so you get some nice, slightly stripped back renditions of songs you already know. The real interest for me are the final 4 or 5 songs, which I think haven't been released anywhere else, particularly the ones from the John Peel session. This is the only place that I know of them, so that's really, really interesting. And some really good songs from 2001, I think, something around that era, so still in the sort of Isabel Campbell period. So yeah, really, really enjoyed this. The live renditions of what I know were good, but the new stuff was great. So that's 5 albums and a hell of a lot of rambling. I'll try and do better next week. That was all over the place there. But of the 5, this last one was the one that really stood out for me as something that I thought, why have I not been spinning that for the last 5 years? I think the others I've probably listened to digitally off and on over that period, so they didn't feel such a revelation, but this was. So that's this week's episode finally over. So next week's is a multiple of 5. It'll be number 15, and therefore it's a random number generator time, so who knows what we'll get next week. So I'll get off and work that out, get my app out and sort out my listening. Okay, cheers, VC, bye.